Big, gigantic news happening in the NFL on this Saturday. We have Jamal Adams being traded from the New York Jets to the Seattle Seahawks. I'll get into the details of the trade in just a little bit. But this was something that was bound to happen. Jamal Adams wanted out of the Giants organization. He did not want to be there. He had made it clear. They had went to... they wanted to keep him. He was obviously one of their better players, especially probably their best defensive player. But he didn't want to be there. And he, like I said, he let his voice be heard. He criticized his head coach, Adam Gase. He's criticized his owner, Woody Johnson, especially in the lights of accusations against Woody Johnson has just recently surfaced. And so the Jets' hand was forced. They didn't want to trade him, but they figured it was only going to happen if they got what they wanted, and they must have got what they wanted because Jamal Adams is now a Seattle Seahawk. Now, this deal, what we have here is Jamal Adams and a fourth-round pick in the 2022 NFL draft. So not the next draft, but the one after that. So Jamal Adams and a fourth-round pick in 2022 are going to the Seattle Seahawks. In exchange, the Jets are going to get the Seahawks first-round pick not only in 2021, but also in 2022. So the Seahawks are not going to have a first-round pick in the next two NFL drafts, plus and also a third-round pick. So Jamal Adams and a fourth-round pick in 2022 for Seattle's first and third-round pick in 2021, and their first-round pick in 2022, plus safety Bradley McDougald. So basically, they're exchanging safeties. Jamal Adams was the starting strong safety for the Jets. Bradley McDougald was the starting strong safety for the Seahawks. They're flipping. The Jets are, the big thing about the Jets is they're getting a starter. McDougald is an average-based starter. He had a good year in 2018. Kind of dipped a little bit this past year, but he's a solid starting strong safety. I don't think he's anything to write home about, but a guy that can come in and be their starter for this upcoming season. But the big thing is they're getting those two first-round picks and the third-round pick. They're getting basically 3 top 100 picks, which is enormous. For the Seahawks, this is big for them because Jamal Adams still has 2 more years remaining. The Jets, before this trade happened, they did pick up Adams' 5th-year option. So Seattle does get him for 2 years, the 2020 season and the 2021 season, and they have some time to negotiate and get him because you're not going to trade 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick for a guy that you're just going to get for 2 years. They're going to want to extend him, and I have a feeling like they're going to just because I'm sure Jamal Adams is excited to be a member of the Seahawks. Now, also, this is huge for the Seattle because they get an elite player in their secondary. One of the biggest things that helped the Seahawks during their championship runs that they've had, it was the Legion of Boom defense. They had Earl Thomas at free safety. They had Cam Chancellor at strong safety. You had Brandon Browner and Richard Sherman at your corners. That made up the Legion of Boom. Those guys have all moved on. And they've had some success. They've had some guys that are quality players, but they don't have that elite playmaker. And Jamal Adams is going to do that. He's going to come in to the strong safety position and give them that upgrade. You pair him up with Quandre Diggs, who the Seahawks traded for from the Detroit Lions, and Quandre Diggs came in and made a big impact for the Seahawks. But Jamal Adams is going to give them a Cam Chancellor type guy. And I say that, and I think Jamal Adams is a much better player than Cam Chancellor. Nothing against Cam Chancellor. He was perfect for what the Seahawks wanted, but Jamal Adams gives them that and then some. If you look at that cover 3 defense that the Seahawks want to run, they need that strong safety that can play the box, that can come forward, that can make plays, that can hit, that can kind of do whatever they need him to do to help in the run game, to match up with tight ends, to be that underneath defender. Jamal Adams has that and then some. So this was a huge move for the Seahawks. Yes, they gave up 2 first-round picks, which is huge, but they get a guy that can be a difference maker in their secondary. They finally get an impact player. They drafted Jordan Brooks in the first round this year. They've still got Bobby Wagner. They got to hope that some of their defensive linemen develop, but at least they're getting an impact difference maker in the back end of that secondary. The Jets, I think they're winners in this too, because they had to get rid of Jamal Adams. They had to. It was not going to work out well for them and him being in their building. So they had to move on from him. Instead of having to settle for a deal where you trade him for like a second-round pick or even just a couple third-round picks, you got 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick. So you hopefully, as they're continuing to build this franchise, they can go and find pieces. And they need to find pieces to help out Sam Darnold. And this is why when I talked about Jamal Adams, when this whole him wanting to be traded first came up, I said they should trade him because for as good as Jamal Adams is, the Jets are not going to have success unless they build around Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has got, an offensive line that they've added pieces finally to. They drafted Denzel Mims on day 2 of the NFL draft this past year, but he doesn't have any weapons. He doesn't really have much around him other than Le'Veon Bell. So as good as Jamal Adams is, he's not going to do anything to help this team get to a championship. The way that they're going to get to a championship is to add pieces around Sam Darnold so that they can build this offense going forward. So I think this is a great move, not only for the Jets because they have a chance to reload and build some pieces around Darnold, but then it's also great for the Seahawks because they're a team that's a playoff contender every year. They need to get to that next level, and I think getting a guy like Jamal Adams to that secondary is going to be huge for this defense. I think it's going to make an already good defense potentially even better, and it maybe takes the pressure off of Russell Wilson and the offense. So love it for both sides. Great move all around.